Behind me is the speech and debate class at Comenius School of Creative Leadership. These students have been debating race relations in America for the last few weeks and have come to some really amazing conclusions. I just thought everyone really needed to hear what they had to say. They're comprised of over 7 different races and nationalities. And the people that come to this podium will be saying the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and the students that stand here and here will be interacting with his speech. Please pay close attention.
So I say to you, my friends, even though we must face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day my 4 children will be able to live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream today.
Well, your dream has come true, Dr. King. Matter of fact, we have exceeded your dream. Look at me. Races have joined together in love and have created beautiful things. Your speech from 1963 isn't the issue anymore. I'm wondering, Dr. King, do you have a fresh word?
Actually, Olivia, Dr. King gave a speech 5 years after this I Have a Dream speech. It was given in the National Cathedral in Washington, D.C. on March 31st, 1968. The speech was called Remaining Awake Through a Great Revolution.
I would like to use as a subject which to preach this morning, Remaining Awake Through a Great Revolution. I'm sure most of you have read that arresting little story from the pen of Washington Irving entitled Rip Van Winkle. The one thing that we usually remember about the story is that Rip Van Winkle slept 20 years.
I know a lot of people who are in a deep sleep now. They say I'm colorblind. I don't even see your color. But I see my color. I love who I am, and I don't want people to ignore my color. I want them to love this part of me too.
But there is another part of this story that is completely overlooked. When Rip Van Winkle went up into the mountain, the picture had a sign of King George III of England. When he came down, the sign had a picture of George Washington, the first president of the United States of America. When he saw this sign, he was amazed. He was completely lost. He did not know who this was. And this reveals the most striking thing about the story of Rip Van Winkle is not merely that Rip slept 20 years, but he slept through a revolution.
Oh, we are in a revolution. America isn't even a race, but a melting pot of different cultures. I'm American. I was born in this great country. I pledge allegiance to the flag. Is this what American looked like before? But now, I am a revolution.
And one of the great liabilities of life is that all too many people find themselves living amid a great period of social change. And yet, they fail to develop the new attitudes, the new mental responses that the new situation demands. They end up sleeping through the revolution.
People say if you're going to be in our country, you need to know English. I know English. I'm speaking right now. But what about those deep things of my heart that I can't even express in English? What about those deep things of my heart?
For me, affirmative action has replaced compassion. No amount of money thrown my way or reforms made for me can be more valuable than someone taking time to understand and just care.
There can be no gainsaying from the fact that a great revolution is taking place in the world today. In a sense, it is a triple revolution. That is a technological revolution. That, with the impact of automation and cybernation. Then there is a revolution of weapons of warfare. Then there is a human rights revolution with the freedom explosion that has taken place all over the world. And there's still the voice crying through the vista of time, saying, "Behold, I make all things new. Former things are passed away."
Well, it's true. There is a freedom explosion, and my generation wants freedom to express themselves. It just seems the more I scream, the less people listen.
Yeah, it seems like the reward for being different is government regulation or entitlements. It provides instant gratification, but it's shallow and it has no heart. It's just like changing my hair color or getting a nice haircut, and my friends give me 50 cents instead of complimenting my new do.
Whenever anything new comes into history, it brings with it new challenges and new opportunities. And I would like to deal with these challenges that we face today as a result of this triple revolution that is taking place in the world today. First, we are challenged to develop a world perspective. No individual can live alone. No nation can live alone. And anyone who feels that he can live alone is sleeping through a revolution. The world in which we live is geographically one. The challenge that we face today is to make it one in terms of brotherhood.
Let me get this straight. Are you saying it's my job to adopt certain groups of people and help them? Why is that my responsibility? Why should I help anyone but myself?
God wrapped all the laws and prophets into one package, to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind. And we get to express that love by loving our neighbor.
Who is our neighbor?
Modern man, through his scientific genius, has been able to dwarf distance and place time in chains. And our jet planes have compressed into minutes, distances that once took weeks, even months. All of this tells us that our world is a neighborhood. Yet, we have not had the ethical commitment to make of it a brotherhood. But somehow, some way, we have got to do this.
Our neighbor is the person in a tough spot. He's the person who's been passed over, the person of a different race and a different culture. He's the person who's never spoken to me before. He's the person who has nothing to offer.
But that is hard. We are going to have to be intentional.
We must all learn to live together as brothers, or we will all perish together as fools. We are tied together in a single garment of destiny, caught in an inescapable network of mutuality. And whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. For some strange reason, I can never be what I ought to be until you are what you ought to be. This is the way God's universe is made. This is the way it is structured.
So though the immigration, the outcries, and the marches all seem like an uncomfortable distraction to me, God is in it. He is actually bringing people together, not just to worship, but to understand each other and to love each other.
Love is patient and kind. Loving your neighbor means being friendly to them. Love is not only thinking of yourself, but the needs of others instead. Love is slow to anger and makes the best out of every situation.
They will know us because we love each other. The pieces of the puzzle are all different, but they must maintain their diversity while finding where they fit in as a whole.
We must see this, believe this, and live by this if we are to stay awake through a great revolution. Thank you.